you. We'll now go to public requests. And at the discretion of the commission chair, we can now take comments for a limited amount of 2 minutes. However, before I do that, I would like to refer to council as to any comments referencing the Manzano Mountain Club. Brandon?
This morning, since the gun club reconsideration...
Brandon, I'm sorry. Michelle asked if you could go to the... Your mic isn't working, or you can use our mic. Thank you. Thank you so much.
This morning, because the gun club issue is on the agenda, I've been asked to give a brief statement about how this issue is going to proceed before the commission today. May 24th, the Manzano Mountain Gun Club sent a letter to the commission requesting reconsideration of the denial of their zoning permit. On June 8th, 2011, the commission voted to approve the reconsideration of the gun club's application, and copies of the minutes from that meeting are available from the county clerk. On August 23rd, the gun club submitted and the county circulated its full petition of the various reasons why it believed the decision should be reconsidered and approved. The county circulated that by email and made it available in paper form as well. On September 9th, the commission held a special meeting where they viewed the proposed site of the shooting range and took no additional testimony. Because all of the procedures in the commission's reconsideration procedures pack have now been complied with, the commission today is going to accept brief testimony from those in favor of the site and those against the site at its normal place on the agenda. So each side is going to be given 5 minutes to speak. And we ask that you take the time between now and when this issue comes up on the agenda to decide who will speak and exactly what you want to have your prepared comments ready, because they will be limited by the Sheriff's Department to 5 minutes. They will be keeping time. After today, at the close of this meeting, anybody who wants to submit any additional testimony, comments, or other material can do so in writing between today at the close of this meeting and September 21st, 2011 by dropping those off in the county manager's office. After 12 noon on the 22nd, anybody that wants to receive a copy of whatever has been submitted can do so by contacting the county manager's office, who will make it available either by email or in paper form, however you want to receive it. At the commission meeting on September 28th, the commission will deliberate in executive session and announce its decision on the application for reconsideration. However, after the 5-minute time period today, the commission will accept no additional verbal testimony. And when you decide to make your 5-minute presentation, it will be a presentation to the commission only. It will not be a set of questions to the commission. They're not going to answer any questions. They're not going to make any public comment today. You have 5 minutes per side to state your view to the commission, and then if you're unable to complete it all in the 5 minutes, get everything else down in writing and get it to the commission by the 21st. Again, on the 28th, the only thing that will happen is the commission will come out and vote and then announce its decision.
Can you repeat what you said about the executive session?
Yes. So you have now today to make your oral presentation, and then you have through September 21st to submit anything else you want to submit to the commissioners in writing. On the 28th, the commission will take the matter under advisement and they will deliberate privately in executive session. They can discuss it amongst themselves at that meeting in closed session. Then they come back into public session and they will vote publicly, yes or no, at that meeting. But that's the only thing that's going to happen that night. There will be no additional commentary, no additional questions, no additional anything. They're just going to come out and each commissioner will vote yes or no. The matter will either be approved or denied at that point. Yes?
But they're only voting on reconsideration, not approval.
No, they will be voting to approve or deny. We believe that at the commission meeting, which again, copies of the minutes are available from the clerk's office, at the meeting on June 8th, after receiving the club's letter requesting reconsideration, that matter was approved, or was passed 2-1 to reconsider. Today is the reconsideration. Any other question?
Did you have a question?
I did, sir. You said that on August 24th, there was something submitted that gave the reasons why it should be reconsidered.
On August 23rd, the
On
Gun
August
Club
23rd.
submitted its packet in accordance with the procedures that were passed by the commission as far as describing the
Reason.
legal and factual arguments as to why they believe their application should receive approval. So essentially, the reasons for reconsideration, and those were submitted on the 23rd. The county manager's office has copies of that
Okay,
packet.
so they're public record.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, since the matter is going to be heard today, may we have a copy of that, their submittal with regard to the rationales for reconsideration?
I'm sure you can have a copy, and that's no problem.
No, we'd like to have it now.
We'll have somebody get that. And then again, this issue appears at number 11 on the agenda. That's the order in which the commission is going to take it. I don't think it'll take a tremendous amount of time to get there, but it gives you a little bit of time to organize your thoughts.
Okay, thank you, Council. Okay, so we will now go to item 11, proposed reconsideration of the Manzano Mountain Gun Club. I'd like to go to Council just to kind of reiterate how we're going to handle this portion of our meeting, and then at that point we will give each side their due time on this matter. We'll get you a mic.
Because the gun club is the applicant, the gun club will go first. One person or a group of people, depending on how you decided to organize it, can speak. You'll have exactly 5 minutes. At the end of the 5 minutes, the sheriff's officer will notify you that your time's up, and we ask that you conclude your comments immediately. And then the opposition to the gun club application will also have 5 minutes in total. You can divide it up amongst yourselves or with one person. Again, at the close of your 5 minutes, the sheriff's officer will let you know that your time has run. At that point, the commission will take the matter under advisement. There will be no additional comments or questions answered today.
Okay, thank you, Council. I would ask that, just a moment, hold your question for a moment, please. If you would come up, since you're going to be taking the time, and you'd be able to motion them and us as well, that would be great. Okay, Council, you can call for questions if you'd like.
Sure.
Question on the time. Am I given just one 5-block period, or can I use 2.5 and use 2.5 in a rebuttal?
I believe that's the discretion of the commission.
I think my feeling is that it's a 5-minute statement, that there's not, we can listen to both sides for 5 minutes.
In total.
And again, if you want to submit a rebuttal statement, you can do that in writing anytime between now and, I don't know,
The 21st.
Just for clarification.
You have another question, Brandon?
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Why limit the discussion to only 5 minutes per side?
Because this issue has taken significant evidence at this point already, and further time, given the contentious issue before the commission, further public spoken debate will likely not add to the deliberative process. Rather, it will be better if each side gets the opportunity to briefly express their entire position, but the ability to allow everyone to speak and everyone to comment is why we'll take whatever you want in writing, as long as you want, as much as you want, anything you want to say, and the commission will review those. But to help maintain an orderly process today and limit the amount of debate that goes on, the commission has decided to present each side with the opportunity to have their 5 minutes and then to present anything else they want in writing. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
It seems like the decision to not allow a 2.5-minute rebuttal puts the other side at an advantage because they hear all the arguments from the opponents and they can rebut it in their reply, but the opponents don't them have a chance to rebut some contention that might be needed on their side? Why not allow them, if they want to split it up by 2.5 minutes first and 2.5 minutes afterwards, or 3 and 2, whatever they want to do?
Well, that's the commission's discretion, but they've made their decision on that point. However, my position on it would be that you do have that the proponents do have the opportunity to rebut by merely submitting a written statement that in the opposition's side, they argued X, Y, and Z, and we think that's wrong because of the following reasons. So I think you get the opportunity to. The commission's made its decision on that point, and otherwise we'll move on if there's no other questions.
You have another question?
Madam Chair,
I'm sorry, I didn't see
what? The opposition would like at least a 10-minute recess before we go into this because we were surprised with this material, and therefore we request at least 10 minutes recess so that we can talk among ourselves.
I think we made it quite clear in the beginning of the meeting that you were going to be given time to discuss this amongst yourselves in between the public request and item number 11 on the agenda. And that's also why I interrupted Mr. Getschau's presentation to remind you that you had an opportunity to step out and do that at that time.
The opposition is entitled to hear what is going on in this meeting with regard to every item on the agenda.
Okay, Mr. Wood, I'm not going to, thank you, sir, you've made your point very clear. I will give you 5 minutes recess. After that 5 minutes, we will come back in and then we'll go forward. Is there a motion to recess for 5 minutes? Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Is there a second?
Second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. We are now in recess. If you would please watch the clock for 5 minutes, please. Thank you. Just a reminder to everyone in the audience that I really do try to give, I almost exhaust people with my desire to make everyone heard, but we're going to stick to what we have said. Now, if anybody becomes unsettled or disrespectful, I will ask that you are escorted out by the Sheriff's Department, and we will not waver on that issue at all. Okay, so now that we have called the meeting back into session, we will give the council, was it the gun club that was going to begin first? We can call for a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you so much. Okay, so the representative from the gun club, please proceed. Are you ready with the time?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, Madam Manager, my name is Charles Lakins. I'm an attorney here on behalf of the Manzano Mountain Gun Club. Appreciate the fact that we have the opportunity to address the Commission today. This is a request for an amendment to establish a special use district. What has happened in this process is that the Manzano Mountain Gun Club did everything they were supposed to do. Followed all the procedures. The matter went to planning and zoning. Planning and zoning approved it unanimously. A public hearing was held on April 13th. From that, there's 34 pages of minutes and 11 exhibits at that public meeting. And the exhibits include support from law enforcement, including the Mountaineer Police Department, the Estancia Police Department, and Torrance County's own sheriff, in support of this range establishment. What happened, though, was when it came to vote on April 27th, Madam Chair recused herself because she was of the opinion she could not give an unbiased opinion. That defect was cured this past Friday with the Commission's special meeting. And what happened at that special meeting was that all the commissioners were able to take the same evidence that Madam Chair basically had taken on her own. So now there's no bias. One issue that seemed to arise out of that meeting was, which the minutes reflect, was that the commission was asked to go to 2 locations outside of Torrance County to get firsthand evidence outside of the county. New evidence that Madam Chair had not taken when she went out there on her own. The irony of that whole request is Exhibit 11 already contains that information. Exhibit 11 was an exhibit that reflected tests that the gun club had conducted, and the bottom two are locations outside of Torrance County. This was testified to by Mr. Chung and George at the public hearing. So all of that's already in evidence. What we have here today is really just the fact that the commission established reconsideration procedures. The Manzano Mountain Gun Club followed those procedures. The commission did exactly the appropriate thing, which was to hold a special meeting and cure any potential defect that may have existed. And now it's just time to move forward. And realistically, now it's time to follow through with the underlying philosophy of what a commission is for, the underlying philosophy of the county's comprehensive land use plan, its zoning ordinances, and subdivision regulations, which all go to making a decision. That's all there's really left to do, is to make a decision. And making a decision is fair for everyone, not just the gun club, but anyone in opposition as well, for the whole county, for the sheriff's department, for the police department, so that everybody knows that this is the action that the commission has taken. And all we really ask for is a vote. That's all. Just vote. That's what's been sitting there waiting on the table, and that's all that's being asked for. And of course, the irony of this whole matter is that if there's no gun club established, every single individual has the absolute right to go to that same location, private property, and shoot. Nothing prevents that. And what's all that's being asked for is to establish a location so this activity, a Second Amendment activity, can be conducted in a safe manner, a comprehensive manner, and provide this county with a location that can be used by all sportsmen and law enforcement individuals who support it and move ahead for a betterment of the county. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now who will be using the time on the other side? Will it be one person or will it be split up? There'll be 3 people? Okay, so,
I'll let you guys know when you guys have a minute left.
okay,
I'm sorry?
I just wanted to make sure you guys know you have 5 minutes. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was present Friday at a property just over the Torrance County line where my sister lives, and I had no knowledge of the tests going on this Friday for the gun club, and I think it was close to 11 to noonish. I heard the gunshots over Red Hill on our property at 422, plain as day, as if someone was shooting right there off Forest Road 422. And there's something about the echo effect with all the cliffs around there, but it sounded like someone was standing on top of Red Hill shooting down. Although, of course, it was a little bit further away, but very, very audible gunshots, the 6 I heard.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Could we have identification of the individual speakers?
I'm Scott Anderson.
My name is Thomas Juarez. I live on Forest Road 422 in Valencia County. It's a shame that a boundary makes a difference nowadays. I believe your recusal should stand. I believe we have no idea what transpired between you and the other party when you were alone. We don't know if any good buddy deals are made, pats on the back, or whatever. And that part does not change. There was no one there to know what was going on with you and the gun club.
My name is Jose Mora. I live at 148 Camino de Aragon, Aragon, New Mexico. First of all, I would like to state for the record that this 5-minute limitation imposed by the chair and the commission is absolutely a denial of due process for people to speak their voice, would be either pro or con. It's abuse of discretion. It's arbitrary and capricious, and it's fundamentally unfair. With regard to the chair's unwillingness to recuse herself, I will point out that she did it correctly on April 27th. And she, of course, indicated at the meeting how she would have voted. This visit by her to the site is explicit ex parte communication by a quasi-judicial body, and wrong because it violates the due process fairness of the zoning process. It allows one side of the proceeding, the applicant in this case, to influence the decision maker without any opportunity from input for the opposition. The effects of ex parte communication cannot be cured. The damage has been done once the ex parte communication has occurred. The nonsensical meeting of September the 9th not only did not cure the problem of ex parte communication, which the chair participated in April, it compounded the problem since the 3 commissioners refused to participate in any additional, since 2 of the 3 commissioners refused to participate in any additional demonstration requested by the parties. This would confirm the bias inherent in the original ex parte communication. They did so on the sham excuse that they would have to travel to another county to do so, and despite the advice from the county attorney that they could do so. And by the way, the only way to get to where some people live in Torrance County, like Joanne Hill, they have to go through the other 2 counties. In other words, the total demonstration was an ex parte because the opposition was not allowed to participate in the development of the protocol to be followed by the firing exercise. We had no input in the actual weapons fired, the direction. In fact, we were not even allowed to ask detailed questions about the procedures used. In addition, Mr. Jones talked to his attorney about going over to 422, and he was advised not to. He mentioned that to the chair. The chair apparently agreed. Again, this is a total abuse of discretion and bias and unfairness. Now, this dog and pony show designed to ostensibly put
Thank you.
other
Your
2
time is
commissioners
up.
on.
Thank you, Mr. Mora. So now we have heard from both sides. We will consider everything that has been presented to us, and we will announce our decision at our next commission meeting. There will be no public comment taken at that meeting. If anyone would like to submit any further testimony that they would like us to consider, please do so by submitting it to the manager's office within the time frame that was mentioned earlier by council.